Princess Leonor stood tall, regal and radiant, under the glaring lights of the Princess of Girona Awards, delivering another poised public performance that further cemented her evolving royal persona. The young heiress to the Spanish throne once again demonstrated the confidence and charisma that the Spanish crown is clearly relying on for the monarchy's future. But behind the elegance of the stage, the applause of the crowd, and the orchestrated smiles, something darker brewed in the corners of the press gallery and on the timelines of royal watchers. What was supposed to be a triumphant moment for the Spanish royal family turned into an explosive flashpoint for one of its most controversial figures, Queen Letizia. In the hours that followed the Girona event, a chilling commentary from a prominent royal expert began circulating across Spanish media outlets and social platforms like wildfire. This wasn't the first time Queen Letizia's conduct had been publicly questioned, but the ferocity and precision of this takedown stunned many. The expert, known for previously treading carefully around the Queen's controversial moments, delivered a searing critique that accused Letizia of hijacking Leonor's spotlight, blatantly sidelining her youngest daughter, Infanta Sofia, and manipulating the entire narrative for personal gain. The words hit hard, with phrases like, Letizia's obsession with control, emotional manipulation, and erasure of Sofia, quickly trending on Spanish Twitter and royal forums. It was Princess Leonor's moment, yes. But in true royal drama fashion, it was Queen Letizia who dominated the post-event headlines, for all the wrong reasons. As Leonor offered subtle gestures of appreciation to her mother throughout the event, these moments were replayed on loop with accompanying commentary asking whether they were genuine or choreographed. One particular moment, when Leonor briefly glanced at Letizia and gave a nearly imperceptible nod, became the centerpiece of an unexpected media storm. Was this a sign of loyalty, a silent thank you, or worse, a trained performance? According to the royal expert now commanding headlines, it was all part of Letizia's calculated image strategy. In scathing words that cut through the palace-approved narrative, the expert accused Queen Letizia of positioning herself at the center of Leonor's success while erasing the presence and contributions of Infanta Sofia. Observers noted that despite Sofia's recent public engagements and her clear role as Leonor's emotional support, she was almost invisible during the Girona Awards. While photos and official footage featured Leonor and Letizia in heavily curated interactions, Sofia's presence was minimal, if not entirely neglected by the media strategy coordinated by Zarzuela Palace. According to the critique, Queen Letizia's actions go beyond favoritism. They point to a broader pattern of manipulating public perception to present a sanitized, mother-daughter alliance between herself and Leonor, with Sofia relegated to the background. This, the expert warns, not only risks damaging the emotional bond between the sisters but may also create a dangerous narrative of hierarchy within the royal family itself, one that favors PR success over family authenticity. Adding more fuel to the fire, the expert recalled past instances that support this disturbing trend. Flashbacks to earlier public events where Letizia appeared to physically block Sofia from photo ops with Leonor resurfaced on social media. Footage from Easter Mass in years past, or moments at the Princess of Asturias Awards, were revisited under a new, harsher lens. Viewers began to see a pattern, moments where Queen Letizia guided Leonor into the spotlight while leaving Sofia to navigate the shadows. Now, that pattern seemed more like a deliberate media choreography than a series of accidental oversights. This narrative also collided with broader discussions about Queen Letizia's overarching ambition, a quality once praised but now deeply scrutinized. Her early years in the royal family were defined by intense media training, image building, and navigating hostile press coverage. She was a journalist by trade, after all, and her mastery of the media machine was once seen as a strength. But this recent critique reframes her mastery as manipulation, suggesting that Letizia is not just shaping her own image but is aggressively curating the monarchy's public face through her daughter Leonor. What truly set off alarm bells among royal watchers, however, was how Queen Letizia reportedly coordinated Leonor's responses at the Girona Awards. The expert claims that Leonor's words, though touching and articulate, were heavily scripted to ensure alignment with Letizia's public narrative. The Queen's fingerprints, they argue, were all over Leonor's speech, especially the emotional moments where she mentioned family, duty, and admiration for those who have guided her. While admiration for one's mother is natural, critics were quick to ask why Sofia wasn't mentioned by name, why King Felipe appeared more like a side character than a monarch father, and why the messaging echoed Letizia's personal themes of resilience, media perception, and modern femininity. Compounding these controversies is the eerie silence from King Felipe himself. His passive role in these events, smiling politely beside his wife and daughters, was noted by many as unsettling. One would expect the King of Spain to steer the narrative or at least address concerns about public perception and familial balance. But the expert argued that Felipe has either abdicated that responsibility to Letizia, or has been sidelined by a woman whose grip on the royal machine is far stronger than the public realizes. Perhaps most disturbingly, the expert warned of long-term consequences. If Letizia continues to define Leonor's public identity in a way that excludes Sofia, it may drive a wedge between the royal sisters. The monarchy thrives not just on tradition, but on symbolic unity, and Leonor and Sofia have long been portrayed as a tight, supportive duo. Undermining that bond for short-term media wins could erode the public's trust and affection for the monarchy in the years ahead. Even within royal circles, whispers have emerged suggesting unease at how much Letizia is steering the ship. Courtiers reportedly speak of a queen who is less interested in teamwork and more focused on controlling the narrative down to the last photograph. With Spain's monarchy already walking a tightrope of public approval, these internal dynamics threaten to reignite Republican sentiments and erode the fragile prestige the crown has worked hard to rebuild after past scandals. It is worth noting that Letizia has faced criticism before and emerged seemingly stronger each time. Her transformation from television anchor to queen consort was never smooth. Early on, she battled criticism over her demeanor, fashion choices, and assertiveness. But the criticism now feels different. It's no longer about superficial missteps. It's about the ethics of her influence over the future Queen of Spain and the very foundation of the royal family's unity. Some voices still rise in Letizia's defense, pointing out her tireless efforts to modernize the crown, her deep involvement in preparing Leonor for leadership, and her protective instincts as a mother navigating a brutally judgmental media environment. They argue that Sofia, too, has been given space to grow away from the spotlight, and that this media asymmetry might even be by design to shield the younger daughter. But that explanation is growing thin for those who see Letizia not as a protective mother, but as an image-obsessed monarch in all but name. As the Girona Awards fade into memory, their aftershocks continue to ripple through Spain's press, social discourse, and royal dynamics. Queen Letizia, once hailed as a breath of modern air in the dusty corridors of Spanish tradition, now finds herself at the center of accusations that strike at the heart of her legacy: control, manipulation, and the possibility that she may be shaping the monarchy in her image alone, at the cost of her own family's emotional balance. With tensions rising and the palace silent, the question on everyone's mind now is chilling in its simplicity: has Queen Letizia gone too far? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Has Queen Letizia overstepped with her control over Leonor's public image, and what does this mean for Sofia's future in the royal family? Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and comment, because the royal drama in Spain is only just beginning.